It was on the 6th of February 2016 that we did our launch of Dew Point. It was the Saturday before we opened the doors to Dew Point on the 8th of February. So we always celebrate Converge on the 8th of February because that was the day we opened our doors. But we actually had a special launch meeting for Dew Point on the Saturday before on the 6th of February. We had invited 150 odd people to this launch. We filled the auditorium back at the office. It was packed to the roof. We were very glad. And I spent the entire day with that 150 people. We started early in the morning. It was the first time we fired up our AV. It was the first time we'd done anything with Dew Point. And I spent an entire day walking these 150 people through Dew Point. At the end of that day, 6 of them believed what I said. 6. Those 6 people are still here tonight. They're part of the people you've seen this evening. Those 6 people. The other 144 reacted exactly the same way the people who say no react to you. It didn't matter that I spent the whole day with them. It didn't matter. They all told me afterwards it was a scheme, it was a scam, it wouldn't work, you won't last, this is not for me, my heart's not in it, etc., etc. Only 6 people caught the vision that day. Now, I want you to think back to what I was talking about a little bit earlier, when I spoke about 17,700 people earning off of Dew Point in 48 months. 6 people started with us at Dew Point. 6. So if you believe that you're going nowhere with your channel because there's only 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of you in your channel, believe you me, you can build an entire Dew Point off of the back of 6 people. And that is what those 6 people did, which is absolutely fantastic. Those 6 people are the people that brought about these numbers. 82,000 people have been through Dew Point because of the work of those people. That's 82,000 people that signed up as product owners at Dew Point. What about all the people that said no but saw Dew Point? What about all of those? There's probably 10 times that number. I'd imagine, well, maybe not 10 times, but we know that, what's the ratio? It's about 65-35. So we know that we can multiply that number up by 65% if we want to know how many people have seen Dew Point. That's the effort that those 6 people started with at Dew Point. That's where our journey began. It began there 48 months ago. But it also began in a very interesting set of circumstances in South Africa. We've had 2 systems in South Africa over the last 110 years that we've been a country. Remember, we've only been a country since 1910. This is a shock to most people. They think when Jan van Riebeeck arrived here, we were South Africa. No. We were South Africa from 1910. We've had 110 years of history, 110 years that's seen 2 economic and political systems. The one system blamed one lot of people, and now the other system is blaming the other lot. Have you noticed a trend here? The first system drove South Africa into recession in the 1980s. Do you remember? When we were last in recession was in the 1980s. What did we see? A collapse of that system. We had a brand new system. We were all keen on the new system. It was like, this is it. We've pulled the hat out of the bag. There's a miracle in South Africa. 2020, we're in recession again. 2020, we're in recession. This is the playing field that Dew Point was born into. What were we born into? We were born into an understanding as South Africans. Most of you haven't consciously understood this, but you understand it subconsciously. You've understood already that nobody's coming to your rescue. The first system didn't come to South Africa's rescue. No, it destroyed South Africa. And the second system has not come to our rescue, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter how politically incorrect that is. It's the truth. It hasn't saved any of us. What we have realized at Dew Point and as individuals is that we're going to have to save ourselves. But we launched Dew Point into this environment in 2016. It was into an environment that was already collapsing. It was already collapsing. How were we going to pull ourselves out of it? This was where we started. We started over there. And what did we see? The pink is South Africa. Do you see Rob put the pink under South Africa at the top there? That's South Africa over the last 4 years. Isn't it exciting what's happening in South Africa? That's it there. And this has been Dew Point as we launched, as we worked. We had this normal process. We came alive in 2016. Rob mentioned it. As we came to the end of 2016, suddenly all the guys from around, mainly KZN area, but around, they came running because we were the new thing. They got all excited, and they joined Dew Point, and we had this initial surge. And then they went, oh, but here's the next new thing, and they ran away. And then from about mid-2017, we had to start building the real business. We had to build it. Now the guys had gone, all of this. We had the real people left, and we started building Dew Point. And we built it as things got worse and worse in South Africa. As things got worse and worse and worse. Look at what was happening with Dew Point. In 2019, 266% more people joined Dew Point a month than in the year before. 266% more per month than the year before. That's where we're at. We've not seen that trend stop now into 2020. Already the first 2 months of this year have seen those numbers holding. But while we're seeing those numbers holding, what are we seeing with the South African economy? Is it getting any better? At the moment, no. I mean, the lights are now out, and we've been told the next 18 months the lights are going to be out. This was after that video where we had a promise made to us. What was the promise made to us? It was made I think it was made around about my daughter's first year of life. So this was about 11 years ago. Go and find it on YouTube. I'm not going to name names tonight, but there's the video. And it says, South Africa will never have load shedding again. That was 11 years ago. Okay? And here we are every flipping 6, 8, 12 hours with the lights going out. The lights are going. But what is happening at Dew Point? 266% growth. Your earnings increased by 72% year on year. In a collapsing economy, we're lifting out of it. We're lifting out of it. This is what we're doing in South Africa today. Where is this taking us beyond 2020? Where do we go from here now forwards? Where are we going to go? Well, at Dew Point, we've got everything lined up for you this year. New products, new technology, new free services and layered protections in it. All sorts of new wealth quests that are going to be coming out. Layer upon layer of tools to create success for you. But at the same time, we know that things are not going to be getting better, folks. They're not. The economic climate in South Africa will continue to get worse. But you know what? This might be our greatest tool. It might well be our greatest tool at Dew Point, the fact that things are getting worse and worse. Because it's easy for my friend to say, but even if I was in Dew Point, my heart wouldn't be in it. His heart will be in it when he can't feed himself anymore. Suddenly, he will find his heart in this business. Can I tell you that of the people that join Dew Point, 99.9% of them that drop out for affordability reasons. Nobody leaves Dew Point because they don't like it. They don't like it. Once they're in, it's only because they just physically can't afford the 249 Rand that they drop out. And I mean that's 99.9% of our dropouts is as a result of affordability. When you're in, you want to keep it. You want to keep it because you've realized that this is the tool for you. As we move beyond 2020, our greatest tool is going to be our credibility, our sustainability, and our reliability as people see the walls falling down around them. That's what you have, ladies and gentlemen. That is what is in your hands as a wealth engineer. Did you realize it? When you talk to your friends and you're worried, people, you see it on the Facebook pages and the live stream, but I talk to people and they say no and they make excuses in it. And I go, but did you talk to them knowing that you hold the only thing that is growing in South Africa today? Did you talk to them with that confidence, with that attitude, with that belief? Because when you go to somebody with that level of belief, it is going to change the way they respond to you. In the next decades, people who do not understand our business are going to make rules that we're going to have to apply to. In the next decades, you are going to face problems and objections you've never had to handle before. These are very normal things in running businesses. If you think about the businesses that are many decades old, do you think they've been able to just stay the same the whole way through? Or do you think that they've had to adapt constantly to survive? Any of you know the Kodak story? Any of you have a Kodak camera here this evening? No. That's because they don't exist yet anymore. But about 15 years ago, they were the biggest camera supplier in the world. And in 15 years, they were gone. In fact, it was less than 15 years. In about 18 months, they were gone. We have to adapt. And that means that Dew Point, the system, is going to have to become a master at what it does. We as a team have to get better and better in anticipating and molding and working in what is going to happen in the next decades in South Africa. But it also means that you guys are going to walk a journey that's going to make you masters of this system. Masters. Some of you have already done it. I mean, I suffer badly from foot-in-mouth disease. I suffer badly from it. It's largely because my mouth is always open that I suffer from it. But I have had wealth engineers. Philip is a great example. Rob was talking about it. It's just with so much love and so much friendship. I've done everything in my power to ruin my relationship with Philip. I've done everything in my power to ruin it. The first time I saw Philip, he put like 69 people in 1 month. And what did I do? I used him as an example of what not to do in a development seminar. I got up and I said, you see this guy? 69 people in a month, he'll be gone next month. Watch. And then it was rank 2, and then rank 3, and then rank 4, and then rank 5, and then he's still here, and now I'm handing him awards. Because what Philip did was he demonstrated to me that I was not adapting fast enough. I was not adapting fast enough. We have to adapt if we're going to survive post-2020. We're going to have to adapt. And people like Philip and Lynette and the others that you've seen on the stage are changing the way they do things to keep up with what is changing in our country and in our circumstances. If you're able to do that, you will become masters as well. And then the journey really gets going. What we've learned, the team and I at Dew Point, is that this is not a journey we're alone on. And that's a wonderful discovery. It's a wonderful discovery to know that we're not alone in this journey of building Dew Point success. We're in journey with you. With you. And the wonderful thing about this business is we actually really get to know you. We really do get to know you. With the technology that we have these days and the style and type of business that this is, we get to know you guys. And it means we walk that walk together. And when there's a journey, there's going to be bad times. There are going to be bad times. But what we do know about journeys is that they generally end at the destination you wanted if you keep going. And that means that along the way, we're going to have the valleys, but we're also going to have the peaks. And we've had a few of those even in the last couple of months. Think about January. We've had 3 major events in January. In 1 month, we've had 3 major events. We had our Rank 9 debrief. That was incredible to see Rank 9s coming back from their 4th trip with us. Okay? Got to remember Ironman in 2017 as well. 4th trip with us, with their kids, put their kids on chairs and see children who are living a life that other children don't understand. In fact, they don't understand other children. They're like, no, where are you going for Christmas? Well, I'm going to the same place I go every year. I'm going to Mauritius. What do you mean going to Mauritius? Yeah, no, I go there every year. Well, that's amazing. And we're going 5-star business class. You know, the children don't understand that. My children have never sat in economy class. I've said to my wife, the first school tour overseas is going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious. My children are going to walk in the plane, turn left, and the teacher's going to be standing there like this. It's going to be like, bonk, this way. They'll open the curtain and see part of the plane they've never seen before in their lives. That is what being a wealth engineer is like. That's what it's like. Patrick and Pumi have exactly the same problem with their children. They do not know that there is another part of the plane on the right-hand side. They don't know that. These are the peaks. What about Lynette and Frikkie getting their first brand new car in their entire lives? Have you waited 64 years to get a brand new car? They did. And they got it. But they can also tell you about the 500 people that mocked them, ripped them off, said no, signed up and didn't pay, canceled laps, and badmouthed them on their WhatsApp groups. Can we walk this journey? Can we walk it? If we walk it, is it worth it? We keep forgetting why we're doing this. The moment you let somebody who says no to you affect you, you've forgotten why you're doing this. You've forgotten. Why are we doing this? We're doing it foremost for the money. Let's not kid ourselves. Why do you think Lynette and Frikkie are so happy and we've got such an emotional video? Because of the money. That's why we're doing this. We're doing it for the wealth. You want the money, you're going to have to pay the price. That price is a journey. It will have ups and it will have downs, but we're going to do it with you. We're going to do it with you. You can ask Patrick and Pumi how often they've sat in my office and gone, why is everyone not paying? The people that are arguably the most successful at Dew Point have sat in my office and said the same thing that you've said for the 3 people you connected. Okay? They've said the same thing. It's the journey, but we do it together. And you'll hear that Patrick will say, never does Pumi hear from me, no, it's fine, you're right, let's just pack it in. You don't hear that. From me, I go, but how many months are we in? We're 24 months in? What are you moaning about? We got 24 more years to go. We'll find the people that do this. Why else are we doing it? We're doing it for freedom. Who here in this room tonight has freedom? Really has freedom? Don't put your hand up because you're a wealth engineer. You don't have freedom yet. You don't have it. What's freedom? What is freedom? Freedom is when you don't worry about stuff anymore. You know, we talk about priorities. I'm going to talk about it again in a moment. When your priorities are messed up, you end up worrying about the wrong things. Worried about how you're going to pay for your kids to go to university. Worried about how you're going to pay your medical bills. Worried about how you're going to keep the roof over your head. These are the things that we worry about as South Africans, is it not? Freedom is not having to worry anymore. That's what we want at Dew Point. We talk about time. I've said it so many times. Our culture in South Africa is to have no time. That's our culture. We don't have time. My wife and I are just pathetic at it. We don't have any time. I work 6 days a week. You know that. 6 days a week. I get 1 day, man. You wake up on Sunday morning and it's Monday morning. There is no time in our lives. How would it be? My brother, very hard-working guy. He works much harder than I do. So if you think I work hard, you've got to meet my brother. He does. He works much harder than I do. He turned 40 this year. Everybody said, what do you want for your 40th birthday? What do you want? And he said, I want time. I want time. That's why we do this, guys. When you've got an income that comes in, whether you check in for work or not every month, you get your time back, don't you? Because you can take a month and say, I'm not working on my business this month. And you know you're going to get paid. You can't be fired. You can't be retrenched. But you're going to have a whole month off. How long will you work to have that freedom? How long will you work for it? What about your dignity? How many of us are ashamed of our circumstances? I've spoken to many wealth engineers that say, I cannot have people at my house. They'll never sign up if they come to my house. Some people say, I live above somebody's garage. I can't have people watching the live stream there. They'll never sign up. You want your dignity back? I want my dignity back. I do. My dignity has been dragged through the dirt in South Africa the last 7 years. You know what I mean. I want my dignity back. Do you not want your dignity back? That's why we do this journey. Respect. We've had that many times. Lynette has said it before, and I've seen on your Facebook page tonight somebody saying, in the beginning, everybody's mocking me. Everybody's telling me this can't be done. Everyone's shaming me. But I'm going to get to the end, and they're going to have to respect me for what I did. I stuck it out when no one else would believe. I stuck it out when my entire channel collapsed. I rebuilt it. That's respect. And you know what? You get the respect in this business. How many of you get this level of recognition in the businesses you work for? How many? Here, if you succeed, if you walk that journey with us here at Dew Point, you know you're going to be here. More so than that, you're going to have the paparazzi on you. You're going to have the paparazzi. We're hiring more staff with more cameras. It means everywhere you go, you are now famous. You're now famous. Lynette said to me here today, at the top, she said, there's a lot of people saying hello to me here that I've never seen in my life before, but they all seem to know me. That is respect. You can't get respect in this country outside of Dew Point. Where? Unless you're a pro sportsman or something, I just don't know how you're going to do it. What about empowerment? That's a big term. The politicians like to throw that one out. More the regulators. No, we need to empower people. Okay. How are we going to empower people? Empowerment requires high levels of qualification, experience, network, and capability. Do you need any of those things for Dew Point? No. You need to know how to tap your phone. I have met some people incapable of tapping their phone, but they're very few. Almost all of you in this room can tap your phone. That's what we ask you to do. Do you want to be empowered by the most powerful wealth creation tool in the country? Then get serious about Dew Point. This year, I say it, and people chuckle at me. They chuckle at me. I've got such a bad temper, but I've really been holding it in. They chuckle at me when I say, 2020, Dew Point is your number one priority. They think I'm saying that to them so that they can build my business. That's what they think. They think that I make that statement so that I can succeed at Dew Point. No, ladies and gentlemen, there is one gravitational constant that we've learned at Dew Point over the last 4 years, and that is until such time as you make Dew Point your number one priority, you won't succeed. You won't. Everything will get in the way. Lynette told me an absolutely wonderful story the other day. She said to me, Brendan, 3 years ago, I'd been in Dew Point for a year, and I went, Fricky, I know, had the conversation with Lynette. I've heard more details about it, but they sat down, and Fricky said to her, we can't carry on the way we're going. We're not winning. We're not winning at Dew Point, and we're not winning in our other streams of income. We're just not winning. We're going to have to pick one. And Lynette said she took a leap of faith that day. You know why? Because she still didn't believe me. She didn't, like, you don't believe me. I wasn't allowed to say that. Jane says I have to stop pointing my finger and saying you. Okay? But that was the case. She didn't believe me yet. She didn't believe me. There was something more important. The finger I also get from my mother, if you're wondering. Her fear was that what she knew, the old tools, would be lost if she did this new thing. But on that night, she said, I took that leap of faith, and I stopped everything else. And I made Dew Point my number one priority. And as you can see, she's hardly been regretting it ever since. In that 1 year, in 12 months, she went from rank 3 to rank 9. Because of a decision made on one night. What are you doing? What are you doing right now? Is it going to set you free? Will it give you dignity? Will it give you respect? Will it give you time, wealth, and freedom? Is it going to give you that? Because if it's not, it can no longer be your priority. Folks, that includes family. It includes sport. It includes your free time. Those things are not solving your problems. In fact, one can argue, and I have family too, that family cause more problems than solve. One can argue that. So they should not be a priority. They should be something that you can solve when you've made Dew Point your number one priority. We were talking about this with some of the wealth engineers just a few minutes ago, where I was talking to them saying, when you have money, all the problems your family gives you are solvable immediately. Just immediately solvable. My daughter's sick. My son's just got divorced and needs to move back in. You can pay for the medical. You can buy somebody. My parents need somewhere to stay. You can set them up because you've got the money. It's amazing how all your other priorities become doable when you've got financial freedom. They become doable. Are they not? We cannot continue to say, I'm sorry, I work 10 hours a day. I go, I'm sorry, you're getting poorer every 10 hours. You have to start saying, no, in 2020, I'm going to take that step of faith and I'm going to make Dew Point number one because it's for me. It's for my family. It's for my life. Do you want a life? It's Dew Point number one for your life, not mine. Your life. It's for my future. What future do we have in South Africa? Are we living believing we won't spend the rest of our lives in South Africa? Is that the way we're living? I'm just here for now, I'm leaving later. Are we living like it? No, it's for my life. It's for my future. What about for my legacy? What are you doing today that's leaving a legacy for your children? Have you got anything? What do they get from you when you go? Is that something you'd like to leave behind? You hear the stories in the movies of the rich uncle that dies and then the kid inherits all the cash. You want to be the rich uncle? I want to be the rich uncle. I know there was my Christian friends say to me, no, if I need something, somewhere God will make suddenly a rich uncle for me. I'm like, yes, he's making him in me. So that when you fail, I can come and bail you out with the money. He doesn't conjure you up with a wand. We get to be the rich uncles. We get to. When Dew Point is your number one priority. When Dew Point is your number one priority, this is what the future looks like. Let's do the mathematics. There's 57 million people in South Africa. Let's roll it down. 65, 35, 5, 1. It means that we should be able to get just over 5 million product-paying owners at Dew Point. 5 million. It might take us 25 years. It might take us 50 years. But we should be able to get 5 million people in as paid product owners. How many of those are going to be in your channel? How many would you like to get in your channel? Are you worried about the 10 or 20 or 30 people that laughed at you when one day you can come back to them and say, I have 857,000 people in my channel? Okay, that's the product payers. How many builders are we going to have out of that? How many builders do we end up out of that? We're going to end up with well over 1 million builders. We know what the builders are? 1 to 50. They come in, they're going to put 1 to 50. Over 1 million people will have earned an income out of Dew Point. But more importantly, we're going to end up with over 100,000 Rank 9 pluses. 100,000 Rank 9 pluses. Where do I fit them in for a 3-course meal at Converge? Where do I fit them? That is the reality. I'm not making that up. That is what we can get if we walk this journey and we make Dew Point our number 1 priority. Not number 2, not number 3, our number 1 priority. What does the day look like when you have 10,000 Rank 9s in your channel? What does that day look like? Well, what it does look like, and it is a reality we will make a fact here at Dew Point, is that we will have some billionaire wealth engineers at Dew Point. No, don't clap. No, you guys are still thinking like, this is great, what a great vision. It's not a great vision. It is a mathematical fact. If we walk the journey together, there will be billionaire wealth engineers at Dew Point. Not 100,000, not 10,000, not 2,500 after 6 months. People who take away enough money that at the end of each year they've earned R1 billion. Then does it matter if there's potholes? Does it matter if the rain has washed the bridge out? No, because why? You can just have another one built. You just fix the potholes yourself. It doesn't matter anymore that the whole economy has collapsed because you can power your own house. You can pump your own water, and you can drive any car you like. And you have legacy, something that goes beyond you. How long will we, as South Africans, continue to make excuses when the goose that lays the golden eggs is sitting right in your hands? How long are we going to do it, ladies and gentlemen? You have got pins tonight that are collectible pins now. Collectible. In the day that we have a Converge with 100,000 people at it, how much do you think your pin will be worth? Your 2021. When you pull it out, these are all imported from the US, incidentally. They're not locally made. When you pull that 2020 pin out, how much do you think it'll be worth on that day? I think you better make a record of it today. We have got our photo booth still up there. After Converge, put your pin on. Put your pins on, like Donnie. Put them on. Those purple hearts. Go and get your photos taken up there because you need to remember this day. And once you have seared it into your memory this evening, once Dew Point has become your number 1 priority, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to remember that rank 14 is waiting for you.